Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Prosperity Mindset Call. I'm just excited to have another opportunity to be up this morning, to walk around and be able to see and hear and touch and taste and have the senses that sometimes we take for granted, and have another opportunity to do something great for my organization, my family, and be a pillar in our community, be somebody in our society that people look up to and people want to be modeled after. So we're excited about where we're going. And this morning I was sitting there thinking, who were the individuals, as I look back on my life, as far as I can remember back and current to where I'm at today, who were those individuals that played a big part in helping me get where I'm at today? Who were those individuals that when I needed a nudge, when I needed confidence, when I needed some faith, when I needed some hope, who were those individuals that helped me get where I'm at today? Who were they? And I did this exercise a couple of years ago, and it's a powerful exercise, and I hope that everybody on this call takes this very serious, because we wouldn't be where we're at today without individuals helping us. We wouldn't be where we're at today without having someone, I don't care what part of life you're in or where you've been or where you're going or where you came from, somebody came in your life and impacted it. Who are those individuals? Number one is, who are those individuals? Number two, what did they do to impact your life? What were some of the things that they taught you or showed into you or shared with you or gave you? And then number three, when was the last time that you actually thanked them for what they did? When have you actually picked up the phone and called them and told them how grateful you are for how they've impacted your life? You know what? A couple of years ago I did this, and I called some people that I love and care about, and sometimes we get so we got to slow down to speed up in life. We got to slow down to speed up, and sometimes we're so excited about chasing our goals and dreams that we forget about the individuals that helped us get in the mode of being able to have our goals and dreams accomplished. We forget about those individuals that sewed into us, that gave us the nudge that we needed when we lost hope. It gave us the little bit of added confidence when we lost our confidence. It gave us the little things that we needed to continue down the path to prosperity. Who are those individuals? Have you really reached out to them? Have you told them how grateful you are for what they've done for you in your life? And I sit back and I remember I was making some calls, and it was a starting call because it was one of them was right after my accident in 2008. When I woke up 4.5 months later, I started thinking about how grateful I was to be able to be still living. And then I started thinking about when I was able to start jotting down notes, because I couldn't write for a long time, being able to jot down some notes. I started jotting down people that I missed talking to. I started jotting down their names and trying to get my phone so I could call them back. And it was one of the calls was a very eye-opening call for me, because he was a gentleman that sewed into me. I was never in his direct organization, but he mentored me from afar. And one day I had an opportunity to sit down with him in North Carolina, and he taught me some things about this industry of relationship marketing that changed my life. And I dialed his number, and his wife picked up. And his wife picked up, and she said, "Is this Cedric Penn?" I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "Well, your number's in Bob's phone." And I said, "Wow, my number's in his phone?" She said, "Yes." She said, "You didn't hear the news." And I said, "What news is that?" She said, "Bobby passed away." I said, "What?" I said, "What do you have?" She said, we were in a pool. I went in to get some iced tea for us to drink. I came back, and he was in the pool, slumped over. He had a massive heart attack in the pool, and he passed away. And he was one of those individuals that sewed into me when I needed it the most. He was one of those individuals that when I was walking away from prosperity, he turned me around and put me back in the right direction as a human being as well as a leader in this industry. And I was so devastated that day. I really couldn't think straight, because I never would have thought that I'd never had an opportunity to have another conversation with him. But he was a very, very impactful person, a big heart guy, somebody that you love and care about. And I was never in his organization. I was sidelined to him in one opportunity, but I was never in his organization. But every time I picked up the phone, ask him something, to get help, to words of encouragement, he was always there. And then when I had an opportunity to sit down with him one-on-one in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, I'll never forget it. And he said, "Absolutely, I'll sit down with you. Okay, whatever I can do to help you." And he was one of those individuals that I hate that I didn't have an opportunity to let him know how he impacted my life. And there's people out there today that have impacted our life, but for whatever reason, we failed to tell them that they have. And one of the biggest things, I was just texting Demisha what the conversation that I had with my dad February 9th, 2003, about 11 o'clock at night. And my dad was one of those individuals that always gave me hope. He was always one of those individuals that whatever negative was going on in my life, he had a way of spinning it around to encourage me to do more. He'd always say, something big's about to happen. That's where I got that from. He said, something great's going to happen. Something big's going to happen. You just got to stay in the game. That's what my dad always, stay in the game. You got to stay in the game. And that night, at 11 o'clock at night, we would talk in the morning, and we would talk at night every single night for years and years and years. And my phone rang right around 11 o'clock. My dad was old school. He watched that news at 11 o'clock. He would always talk to me while that news was going on. And his last conversation I had with him is that, man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you're doing. You got to promise me you're not going to stop doing what you're doing. And I'm proud of how you're impacting other people's lives. I said, Dad, I won't. He said, I love you. And I said, Dad, I love you. That was the last conversation. That night, he never woke up. And the story is this. Why do we wait for something negative to happen to tell other people how somebody else impacted our life instead of telling them while they're living how they impacted our life? Why don't we make that a part of who we are? Why don't we pick up the phone, slow down, and pick up the phone and let people know how they've impacted our life, how they've been able to sow seeds into our life? Why do we wait when something negative happens or someone dies, and then everybody goes up there and talks about how great this person was, but the person can't hear you? So I want to make a very conscious effort going forward that everybody that has done anything in my life to impact my life in a very positive way, I'm not going to wait till they die and tell other people how they impacted my life. I'm going to make sure they know that I'm grateful for what they've done in my life to help me get where I'm at today. And that's the message today on this call, is that don't wait. Pick up the phone. Don't text them. Pick up the phone and let those individuals know what they've done for you in your life to sow into your life and help you to where you're at today. One of the things I learned about this much in life is that it don't cost anything to be grateful. It doesn't. It don't cost a dime to be grateful and thankful for what you have and for what you've been able to, the blessings that you've been able to get and the ones that you don't even know they're coming yet. So be grateful. Be thankful for those individuals and let them people know. Let them know. Let them know. I wish I had a couple conversations that I could have with people that are not on this earth again. What would they be like? What would they be like? So that's my message this morning as we go into the weekend. Let's make it a great weekend. Let's go do something great today. Let's do something that's going to inspire somebody else to continue down a path of prosperity together. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the bounce every day. Take care now.